welcome to Kevin's Covers. Today we are doing Paul Simon's Mrs. Robinson. It was, of course, inevitable that I do some Paul Simon. After all, I was born in Queens. Mrs. Robinson was Simon and Garfunkel's breakout hit, and my own arrangement of it is pretty close to what he did. It is different, though. For one thing, it's done for one guitar. All the recordings I've heard of Paul Simon doing this song have two guitars, including, of course, the original. So let's take a look at the performance. I'm going to rate this as relatively easy to do. It might be a little bit more on the intimate side, but I have faith in you guys. We're going to call it easy. So let's take a look at the performance, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how I did it.
Here's to you, Mrs. Robinson. Jesus loves you more than you will know. Whoa, whoa, whoa. God bless you, please, Mrs. Robinson. Heaven holds a place for those who pray. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. We'd like to know a little bit about you for our files. We'd like to help you learn to help yourself. Look around you, all you see are sympathetic eyes. Stroll around the grounds until you feel at home. And here's to you, Mrs. Robinson. Jesus loves you more than you will know. Whoa, whoa, whoa. God bless you, please, Mrs. Robinson. Heaven holds a place for those who pray. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Hide it in a hiding place where no one ever goes. Put it in your pantry with your cupcakes. It's a little secret, just the Robinsons' affair. Most of all, you've got to hide it from the kids. Cuckoo-cuckoo-choo, Mrs. Robinson. Jesus loves you more than you will know. Whoa, whoa, whoa. God bless you, please, Mrs. Robinson. Heaven holds a place for those who pray. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Sitting on a sofa on a Sunday afternoon, going to the candidates' debate. Laugh about it, shout about it when you've got to choose. Any way you look at it, you lose. Where have you gone, Joe DiMaggio? A nation turns its lonely eyes to you. Woo, woo, woo. What's that you say, Mrs. Robinson? Joltin' Joe has left and gone away. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey.
That was my performance of Mrs. Robinson. It is in E. Paul Simon actually performed it in F sharp. I've seen a couple of or I know a couple of recordings of him and have seen a couple of videos, in which case he's clearly playing it as if it were an E and capo on 2. Feel free to capo it if you like. I do it directly in E, so a step lower than Simon or Simon and Garfunkel. And the song really plays off of an E, and that whole intro bit is primarily an E, and we're going to flash that 7th from time to time. And in fact, most of these, both the E and the A, from time to time, we're going to go off the basic major chord and add a 7th. The chord progression over the verses is relatively straightforward. We're going to play G, Mrs. E minor, Robinson, back to the G. Jesus loves you more than you would know. Down to C, whoa, 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 D. Back to G, E minor, G, C, D, and then back to that E. So that's the chorus. Now the verse chords are likewise pretty straightforward. They're basically staying on the E, right? Hide it in a hiding place where no one ever goes. Then the A. Put it in the pantry with your cupcakes. Here we go. Hit that 7th. D. It's a little secret. G. C. Down to A minor. Back to the E. D. Then into the chorus on the G. Okay. So that's the basic chord progression over the verses and over the chorus and the verses. Let's take a look at some of the specifics of the song and of these little trills, okay? First of all, there's that little opening riff. Now, Paul Simon actually goes like this. So he's playing E, A, B, D, E, right? And if you listen to the recording, particularly the original recording, you'll really hear that. He kind of slaps that that string onto the fingerboard to get a bit of oomph to it. Now, that's very difficult to do if you're playing alone because you really want to have some chords rolling. So I cheat. I'm not actually playing what he did. Instead of playing that E up to the B, D, E, I'm actually playing a G. So it's not quite the same thing, and purists out there might get upset with that, but purists shouldn't be watching this channel. You should be watching a channel that tells you how to play it, how Paul Simon played it. If you're playing alone, though, then it does allow you to keep that strumming going. And I have found, I've played this many times on stage, that that goes over pretty well, actually. So I like to play it like that, with hammering on that G. Now, otherwise, basically just playing that E, and as I said, kind of flashing that 7th when you feel like it. I often do a little lick coming up into the A. Well, I'll go. So all I'm doing is hammering on the 5th string the A onto the B, and then D onto the E, right? To come into the A. Then playing the 7th. Then another little lick, which is very similar, playing that D onto the E, and then the G onto the A to come into the D. So then, playing that D, coming up to hit the G, and then descending that C down to an A minor. It's always nice to bend that whole A minor a bit. Back to the E, and then, now I climb up to that G that mirrors the vocals, right? And here's to you. So just F sharp, G, A, G to come and hit that bass in the whole G chord. And that works pretty well. So let's take a look at the entire verse, right? So on a Sunday afternoon, going to the candidates debate, So as you see, actually bending that and also playing around by lifting up that C, and likewise the other two fingers.
Any way you look at it, you lose. And here's to you, Mrs. Robinson.
That's pretty much it when it really comes down to it. If you could do all these little things, put them together, then you have Mrs. Robinson by Paul Simon. Now, obviously, this song was an important song to me growing up and playing the guitar and learning music. Paul Simon is a hero of mine. I honestly think he's one of the 3 or 4 best lyricists in the English language, along with people like Dylan and Leonard Cohen. And furthermore, seriously, this song is just such a fantastic song and what he was able to do. And I know that some of you, there are some Garfunkelonians out there who are probably amiss at the fact that I'm just talking about Paul Simon. I tend to think that calling the duo Simon and Garfunkel was an act of extreme kindness on the part of Paul Simon as opposed to just calling himself Paul Simon and backup singer. Sorry if that strikes you as heresy. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, I hope it's useful and that there's some little things in my arrangement that you can use. And don't forget, please do like this video if you liked the approach. And don't forget to subscribe, hit notifications as well so you can see when I come out with new videos. And in the meantime, rock on.